Everybody, Brian here from Fitzpatrick's. In this video I want to show you this car here. This is a 2021, it's a Honda CRV, and this one is a hybrid and it's an elegance model as well. If there's any information you want on this car, please do not hesitate to give me a shout direct. It's probably the best and quickest way to do it. 086 843 1945. Call, text, WhatsApp. I'll be happy to go through information on the car or financing or trading in. So these are really nice. Like, the thing about it is there's a gazillion types of SUVs in the country. This is the kind of car, like if you look at that, that's a Santa Fe, and then we sell lots of, say, like Hyundai Tucson and stuff like that. I think size wise it kind of falls in between those two things. But what I like about these is a lot of the SUVs that are in the country, they're super nice and they're super popular and all that stuff, but kind of the problem is when you go outside your door, lots of people have the exact same car as you. And what I always liked on the Honda, it's just something that's a little bit different. You can drive down the road and you won't meet as many of them. The price point, they were quite an expensive car, brand new. And also the availability was never, very strong on them, brand new. So it kind of makes a nice car secondhand that when you get into it, it's a little bit different than everyone else's, and it's still a good, seriously reliable car with an excellent level of spec. Anyway, let me show you some stuff I like on the outside. So the previous model of CRV had a kind of, if you go back to like 07, 08, I thought that was a lovely shape. And this kind of nose on the front of these is kind of similar to it as well. A bit of a kind of a bull kind of shape there on the front. Small details. Look where the grille starts. It's actually starting in the headlight. So big chrome grille along through there. Nice brushed aluminium along through here. Again, chrome down around the fog lights. Now it's nice on the lights on all of these. Once you get into the hybrid models, so you got a big long indicator in LED. Full lights LED, dip lights LED, and look at all the independent even LEDs in there. Cornering lights are LED. LED daytime running light, and even the front fog lights are a nice LED as well. Staying on that theme on the rear, so again you got LED lighting all the way through here, and then you've got a big high long LED indicator in through there as well. I think they're a good looking car, these, and in my opinion the crystal pearl red, which is this colour as well, I think that's a really nice colour in them. Looking down the side of the car, so this one has some nice features. So again, we saw the chrome that was on the front. And moving around here, you get these nice diamond cut wheels, so they're shiny and reflective, so light reflects off them really nice on a sunny day, and also at night time under artificial light they look really nice when the wheel is turning. On this particular car, which is a little bit more seldom, it's got a side step, which is a brushed aluminium finish. So if we saw, just to recap right now, I get nerdy, super nerdy about this stuff. So chrome along here, brushed aluminium along here, brushed aluminium along here. So basically on the lower end of the car, brushed aluminium, but as we move up into the higher sections, then we start to get a nice chrome strip along here, chrome up around there. But we get to the top, more brushed aluminium over here with the roof rail, which means obviously you can use roof bars and things like that. And then moving around to the back of the car, staying on the same theme, brushed aluminium down low, brushed aluminium down low, chrome and chrome as you get into the higher sections. So again, like, look, they are things that just makes a car look nice. You don't specifically notice them individually, but they all come together to make a nice looking vehicle. The previous owner on this car has been buying cars at the garage for, oh my god, I don't know, 30-40 years, something like that. He's had tons of cars, loves cars, changes pretty regularly every kind of 2 to 3 years. So the car is really well known to us. So this one being a 2-litre hybrid, we'll go for a drive in the car. The nice thing about these is that they are quite economical if you get a chance to drive them right. Now, I have customers telling me they will do anywhere between, some people can get into the 4s, so 4.5 to 5 litres, and then have some people that do more motorway driving and they're up around 6.5, 7 litres. So there's a happy medium probably in the high 5s towards 6 litres per 100 kilometres being a reasonably accurate number in terms of what you'd expect in fuel efficiency. And they have been super reliable. Like, we sell lots of cars, we've been selling cars a long time, and modern cars, there's so much stuff going on in them, they've inherently actually become unreliable because there's so much going on to try and keep them low in emissions and extra technology and all that stuff. These have been, okay, I'm not saying you can never have a problem with one, but it's pretty unlikely from what I've seen so far. They've been super reliable for us so far. Usually what I find, people that come to buy these, they've probably had a Honda already, or they've had maybe a Japanese car, but reliability, a lot of the time, they just want a nice Japanese engineered product. Those wheels look really well. That colour looks really well in the sun, doesn't it? That's a nice looking car. And the side step really completes it. It just makes it look a little bit lower to the ground. Right, let's have a look at something practical like the boot. So there is a good sized boot in the car. Lovely interior now, we'll see in a minute. Condition of the boot's nice. There's a light up here. There is 12 volt down here. There's a speaker in here. There's another light. So it's symmetrical, so you get a light on the left and the right. A lot of cars only have one light in one corner. Pull that, the seat drops down, and pull that one, and the seat drops down similarly. And once they go down flat, you end up with this really large load area. Obviously you can take out the tonneau cover as well if you want. So they have nice flexibility like that. And then to let the seat back up, it's pretty. But like, see how flat it goes. To be fair, it's hard enough to find a car that has a seat that goes super flat, and then the seats you can recline. So a little bit forward or a little bit back. The rear of that car then has a super nice interior. Veneer, brushed aluminium, tweeter, speaker, piano black, and nice beige leather interior, although maybe some people would nearly call it a grey, but I think it's beige. It's lovely. And what I mean by that, I love all these shapes in here. It makes it look expensive and upmarket. There's two USB connectors in through here. The person who saw in the car, their children are well reared. They actually have children's children, if that makes sense, or grandparents. So I'd say the back of the car didn't really get that much use. So in my opinion, the rear seats here and stuff are in nice condition. But it's a lovely, bright cabin. Somebody that has kids, or they have young kids, look how wide, well actually not even just young kids, even adults getting in and out of the car. Look how wide the door opens on this. So to get into it, it's really, really easy. For an adult sitting in the back of this car, if I sit behind myself, there's good room. I have to say, compared to some of the other cars in the market, there's good room in the back of this. Like, look, the legroom is excellent. This here, and then like we're saying, I can recline it to be straight, or I can, oops, there you go, I can have it straight, or I can drop it back a bit, and even that small bit makes a big difference. I like the fact that the lights are LED, but just sitting in the car, this is a nice bright cabin, and the windows are privacy, so dark windows in through there. And the previous owner then specified with the side steps, he also got the Honda wind deflectors in here if you want to leave the window maybe slightly ajar at certain times of the year to stop it fogging up. Moving into the inside, actually starting and stopping the car and stuff, right? So I have the key in my pocket. I'm going to turn this off for a sec. So the keys have a couple of functions. So you can lock the car, fine. You can unlock the car, fine. You can unlock the boot if you want to get into it. The lights will basically turn off when you lock the car. The lights will come on when you unlock the car, depending if it's bright or dark or whatever. And then I can also use this to drop the windows, or I can use it to retract the windows and those wing mirrors as well, right? Now that's fine, so you can get in and out of the car that way, fine. What I would suggest is leave that in your pocket, and then you walk up to the car and you put your hand in, and you hear the click, and it opens up. You can get into the car, wing mirrors come out, or similarly, I can press, see along here, the little indentation, or not indentation, the little bumps, lock, second time, keep your finger on it, and it locks in. I think it's pretty cool. So that is just to try and keep it somewhat clean. I know it looks horrible, but it's only a piece of paper. Height adjustable seat, obviously lumbar support for lower back. Again, it has this lovely design all the way up, and so does the passenger side. And the passenger side is also height adjustable, and it has lumbar support. So both people get equal amounts of comfort, which happens or doesn't happen in a lot of cars. Storage, and then back through there, more storage with USB connectors, HDMI, 12 volt power, drinks holder, more 12 volt power. One thing I always liked on these was the safety belt, and the reason is if I put on the sorry, turbo camera. See the way it just pulls back a small bit. Very few cars do that, and it just, sometimes you put on a safety belt, it might, after time, it just gets a bit flabby and it goes on and it's not perfect. You wish it was tighter. Every time you put your safety belt in on this, it just pulls back, makes it nice and tight. Drive this car, it's going to be start stop button in through here, that's fine. Parking sensors front and rear. This is to defrost the front windscreen wipers even. Over here then there is a little chime you can have which makes noise when you're driving the car. Probably hard to hear, but if it's on, hard to hear a background sound, but just a little creeping sound so pedestrians can hear you. Lane departure warning warns you if you drift out of lane. We also have a lane keep, which is trying to keep you dead centered on the lane. You can see it changing up there. We've got adaptive cruise control, so you can follow the car in front. If they slow down, you slow down. Wipers will be automated, lights will be automated, and they'll also dip when you meet traffic. Controls for Bluetooth, and then this is the trip information, average speed, fuel efficiency, all that kind of stuff in there that you'd expect. Specific to hybrid then in here is kind of giving you a monitor as to what sort of fuel efficiency you're doing, and then this is telling you as you're driving where the power is coming from, whether the engine's being used or whether you're charging or the battery, that kind of information. So it's pretty nice. Gearbox over through here, drive, park, reverse, with parking sensors and stuff. Neutral, fine. One thing about the camera, right? So you can have different settings on the camera, what way you want it, and then the guidelines are dynamic to tell you what direction you're going. This here, cross monitor. So what it does essentially is if you have something coming from here or coming from here, and they're not quite in the camera, you get a little arrow to warn you there's something coming outside the visual field of the camera. So I think that's pretty neat. And then you can touch this here, and it also gives you a kind of a radar for around the car when you're parking, which is pretty nice. There's a sport mode to give you a more aggressive throttle response. You can press EV mode if you want to go for EV mode yourself. And then after that, Econ. Now, to be fair, on a full hybrid like these, like the driving you're going to get is half a kilometre, a quarter of a kilometre, here and there. So it's not quite this, but essentially when you're driving, like you could do 100 kilometres an hour in EV mode on this, but it won't go EV all the way to getting up there. You might get up to that speed, and then when the throttle necessity is reduced, you'll see it pulling itself along in battery. So at a very, very small acceleration level, it'll pull itself along in EV. So you might get like 3 minutes of driving, 25-30 seconds might be EV. It'll keep toggling between them, but it's nice. It drives kind of like an electric car in a weird way. You don't hear the engine at low speeds or anything like that. Now, when you floor the car and you want maximum power, yes, you hear the engine, of course you do. Over through here then, things like, we'll say, navigation. So there will be navigation in the car, but to be fair, most people are going to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for things like Google Maps and all that kind of stuff. This is electrochromatic, so it darkens itself. This is a conversation mirror, so that's to see what's going on out the back of the car. That's to see what's going on in the back of the car. And then the usual lights and SOS function as well if you need emergency services or anything like that. Anyway, let's go for a drive in the car. So sitting here at the moment, I mean, the car is actually running, right? And it tells you here EV mode, fine. I'm just going to pull out to the road here. So it's going to cruise in EV. So you'll see here, like, this is light acceleration, so just watch this. But you see the little green guy in the corner, EV. So we're actually accelerating in full electric mode. It's light acceleration, but in normal traffic in a city or town, that's kind of what you would be doing. So we're doing some EV drive, then after a while the engine will come back in, bridge now, and that starts charging the battery again, and that'll get the battery up to a level. Or if I floor the car, as I did there, you can hear the engine coming in, but once you'd let off, like, how many times do you put your foot completely to the floor in the car in a day? Probably never. That's the only time I'll really hear the engine. After that, when the engine's assisting the battery and normal operations, don't really hear the engine that much. It's a nice and quiet cabin. They have this noise cancellation in the cabin as well, so it tries to reduce the amount of noise that's within the cabin. So it's not an easy thing to do because wheels are big on cars, and you know, you get a lot of road noise coming up, so it's a useful piece of technology. The cabin's lovely, like looking around it, like I feel like I'm in an expensive upmarket car, and that's what this is. Like, okay, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, they're prestige brands, but that's what I like about this. It's a little bit less predictable, but you still get that really nice kind of quality feel. One thing actually on these cars as well, they have like, if you want to get the maximum fuel efficiency from a car like this, you have to engage with it. So they have these paddles on the steering wheel. So say for example you're driving along, like loads of people don't use them, okay, so they're here on the left and the right, but say for example, just there's nothing behind us, so we'll just slow down for a sec. If I use the paddles here, it increases the amount of resistance, so the car will tend to kind of slope a bit quicker, and you'll see the arrows telling you how much resistance is there. But that's regenerative braking. It's taking the power from the turning wheel, reversing the motor, and putting it back up into the battery. So anyway, there you have it. That is a nice driving car, really nice reliable vehicle, something that's a bit different than all the other SUVs that are on the road. Cars only come into us, so we still need to get it cleaned and serviced and all that kind of stuff. So that is a work in progress at the moment, but you know, it's very presentable if anyone wants to come look at it. Obviously we can take trade-ins, and finance is available and all that kind of stuff as well. So if there's more information you want on the car, 086 843 1945, give me a shout, call, text, WhatsApp. I'll be happy to go through information on the car, information on trading in your own car, finance, whatever it is. So anyway, hopefully the video is useful, hopefully you like the car. Thanks for watching.